Alright, I'm going to try to make this tutorial as sweet and short as possible. I had a lot of issues with super gliding, and it wasn't on my own doing. It was my hardware that was keeping me back. There's a website that I'm going to show you that we're going to talk about right now of figuring out if you have your keybinds at a correct, if you're inputting them correctly to even super glide to begin with. Because if you're not, and you're attempting to super glide, and you're going up to this thing and you're just going to it and you're like, why can't I super glide on this? It may be the fact that you're inputting things incorrectly. And so for that reason, let's go to the site, let's jump into it, and we'll see if we're doing it correctly. Now, this is the website you're going to want to go to, apexmovement.tech/superglidestrainer. I will link it in the description below. You want to put your space, or your jump as your spacebar, or whatever your jump is, and your crouch as whatever you put it as, C, V, B, whatever is the most comfortable for you, and then put your frames you're putting it at, and start inputting and see if it's working. Now, when I go to the regular routing keybinds of like not having the delay on C, this is what happens. There's no way that I could get a consistent super glide at 20% on a time to time. 0% chance. It says crouch later by 1 frame. I don't know how it's possible. I literally have to like angle my thumb at a different way. There's just no way I'm going to get that consistently. And I kept trying to practice super glide with this being my input. So there was no chance that I was going to be able to super glide. And I just kept getting frustrated and getting so over it. But when you change the routing, and I had a high grab before, I literally flipped to clarify this for anyone. If you have another keyboard that's not a routing, or that doesn't have the input delays, or that you could input the delay on a keyboard with software, as you could do with the routing, I had a high ground. I had to flip the crouch to spacebar. I had to flip and jump to C, and that helped me tremendously. Try that out if you have a high ground or another keyboard that doesn't have the advanced stuff that routing does, and see if that works for you. And if it's not working for you, you may be hardware stuck like I was. With that being said, let me flip over to my routing Apex Superglide profile and see if that works. Now, just a heads up for anyone who's asking, my spacebar is at 1 on the delay, and my crouch is at 1.6. And that right there helps me get more consistent superglides at 84%. So I would shoot for 75 to 80% or higher to get that input consistently. It helps me out tremendously. The site helped me out tremendously. And once you can get this at a consistent basis with tweaking whatever you have to tweak on your hardware side to get a high, just even like anywhere in the green, you're going to be at a better rate. And if you need to, you can even tweak your frames per second in game, because the higher your frames are at, the harder this is to input correctly. And you could even mess with it. You could even, like, if I go 240 and do what I'm at currently, see what it would look like. This is not as consistent. And if I went to 60 frames in game, which no one wants to play at 60 frames, see, it's like it's delayed even because it needs that extra. So if I go to 200 frames and then go back to 144, which my thing's like technically like combined for, that's like my consistency. I've set myself up with how I have the routing at. I've set it up where 1 and 1.6 at 144 frames is like the perfect like chef's kiss for that. Now, with that being said, the timing part is now the second hardest part, or I honestly would consider that this is the easiest part of the thing. Inputting the keybinds at the same time is the harder part, but like that super glide right there, you just want to input like right at the top of your climb, right before you're about to walk is when you want to put the inputs in. But like I said, the other part was the harder part for me. I kept attempting the super glide and just wasn't working because my inputs were incorrect. So I hope this helped. Keep practicing, keep working at it. You may be hardware stuck. If you are, I'm sorry. If you need to get a routing or something like that, you may need to do it. But for me, I had a high ground. I flipped my keybinds. It worked for me. Try that out. Maybe change your frames per second. Just tweak everything until you get things correctly. And then once you start getting consistently on that website of your inputs and how they're working, come to this area, and right as you mantle up on that little, right before you're about to walk, that's when you want to put the keybind, and it's going to work tremendously. Trust me. Hope this helped. If it did, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.